The crash and the plea. It was a quiet night in a small village near the forest. The stars were shining and the air was still. Most people were asleep, but Daniel, a 24-year-old man, was sitting outside his house. He liked the peace of the night. It helped him forget the stress of his life. Suddenly the sky lit up with a bright blue light. A loud sound followed like thunder mixed with metal breaking. Birds flew from the trees. The ground shook for a second. Daniel stood up quickly. What was that? He whispered. He looked toward the forest. A strange glow was coming from behind the trees. It wasn't normal. It wasn't fire. It was something else, something unearthly. Curious and a little afraid, Daniel grabbed a flashlight and started walking toward the forest. As he got closer, the light became brighter. There was a strong smell in the air like burning wires and smoke. After 10 minutes of walking, he found it. A large, broken object had crashed into the ground. It looked like a ship, but not like anything from Earth. Its surface was smooth and glowing. Parts of it were still smoking. And then he saw her. A woman was lying on the ground near the crash. Her skin had a soft silver tone. Her clothes were tight and strange, made of a glowing fabric. Her hair was long, white, and almost floating in the air. She was badly hurt. Her arm was bleeding with a blue liquid, not red. Daniel's heart started to race. "Whoa, who are you? Are you okay?" he asked, stepping closer. The woman opened her eyes. They were large, bright violet, and glowing in the dark. She looked at him, confused and in pain. Then, slowly, she dropped to her knees. Daniel stepped back, surprised. "Hey, what are you doing?" She looked up at him, tears in her glowing eyes. "Please," she said in a soft voice. "Please marry me." Daniel blinked. "What?" The woman's voice became weaker. "If I don't bond, I will die." He looked around. No one else was there. The forest was silent. Just him and this strange, glowing woman asking him to marry her. "I don't understand," he said. "My name is Alara," she said. "I come from another world. I was not supposed to come to Earth like this. My ship was attacked. I escaped. But I'm alone now. My body needs connection. Without a soul bond, I will not survive. And you are the only one here." Daniel couldn't believe what he was hearing. A soul bond? Another world? This had to be a dream. "You mean, if I don't help you, you'll die?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes, I need a human to bond with me. It's the only way." Daniel looked at her. She was shaking. Her skin was glowing weaker. She looked like she was fading. "But why me?" he asked. "You have a strong heart," she said, her voice softer. "I felt it when you came close. You are kind. You are brave. I don't want to die alone." Daniel didn't know what to say. Every part of him was screaming to run away. But another part, the part that saw her pain, told him to stay. "Okay," he said finally. "Let me help you. But I don't know how to marry an alien." She gave a weak smile. "Just say yes. That is enough for now." Daniel looked into her eyes. "Yes," he said. "I'll help you." Suddenly, a strange light came from her body. It wrapped around both of them like a soft wind. Daniel felt warm, but also strange. Like something was entering his mind. He saw a flash of giant planet. Made of glass, people with silver skin, a war, and then darkness. He fell to his knees. What was that?" he asked, holding his head. "The beginning," Alara whispered, then collapsed in his arms. Daniel held her close, unsure what he had just agreed to, but knowing one thing for sure: nothing would ever be the same again. Daniel sat beside the unconscious alien woman, Alara, in his small wooden cabin. Outside, the forest was quiet again, as if the crash had never happened. Inside, however, everything had changed. A glowing stranger from another world now rested on his old couch, wrapped in a blanket, breathing softly. Her skin shimmered faintly under the moonlight that slipped through the window. Daniel couldn't sleep. His mind raced with questions. Who was she really? Was she dangerous? What had he agreed to? When morning came, Alara opened her eyes. Her gaze searched the room, then landed on Daniel. For a moment, she looked frightened. Then she sat up slowly and whispered, "You stayed." Daniel nodded. "I couldn't leave you like that. I brought you here after—" Whatever that light was, Alara looked down at her hands. They were pale silver, almost translucent now. "The bond has started. My body is trying to adjust. It is painful, but I will live, thanks to you." Daniel stared at her. "I need answers. I need to understand what you are, what just happened, and why me." She was silent for a while, as if choosing her words carefully. Then she spoke. "I come from a planet called Illyra, many galaxies away. We are known as the Ethari. Our people do not form relationships the way humans do. We bond through something called soul threads, invisible energy that connects two beings deeply. Without it, we cannot survive for long. We were designed that way by our creators. Every Ethari must form a bond by their 25th cycle, or their body begins to weaken and fade." Daniel frowned. "So, it's like dying from loneliness?" Alara nodded. "But it is deeper than emotion. It is physical, spiritual, even mental. The bond connects life energy. Without it, an Ethari system collapses." He rubbed his face, still processing everything. "Okay, so why were you here? Why Earth?" She hesitated, then stood up and walked to the window. Her glowing eyes looked toward the trees. "I was part of a research fleet. We studied intelligent life across galaxies. Earth was under watch, but no contact was allowed. We were forbidden to bond with humans, but something went wrong. Our ship was attacked during re-entry. I was thrown out in an escape pod. I didn't expect to survive." Daniel leaned forward. "Attacked? By who?" "I don't know," she said, "but I fear it wasn't an accident. My people, some of them, don't trust me. I've broken rules before." That caught Daniel's attention. "What kind of rules?" Alara turned around, her expression serious. "I once made contact with a human years ago. I disobeyed orders. They erased the human's memory and punished me. Since then, I've been watched, tested. This mission was my last chance to earn back trust. But now, I believe they used it to get rid of me." Daniel stood up, shocked. "So they tried to kill you? Or leave me here to die slowly," she said calmly. "Without a bond, I would have faded away in the forest. Alone, in pain." Daniel felt a strange anger rise in his chest. How could any species be so cold? He looked at her closely. Despite her alien features, there was something deeply human. In her fear, sorrow, hope, she wasn't a monster. She was a person. But why me? He asked again, softer this time. Alara stepped closer, her voice almost a whisper. "Because when I looked into your eyes in the forest, I saw kindness. I felt your energy. The bond responds to emotion. You didn't run from me. You tried to help. And that was enough." Daniel sighed. "This is all crazy, but I believe you. I just don't know what happens next." Alara touched her chest. "The bond must deepen. Right now, it's weak, temporary. I will live, but if we do not complete it, I will fall sick. Again, and you may feel pain too." "Wait, what?" Daniel blinked. "It can affect me?" "Yes," she said, "because part of your energy is now linked with mine. It's harmless if the bond grows, but if it breaks suddenly, it could harm you." Daniel sat down heavily. "So we're Connected now? She smiled softly. Yes, but not like humans. Think of marriage. It is not about ownership. It is about balance, trust, harmony. He looked at her for a long moment. Then let's try. I don't know what I'm doing, but I won't leave you. Outside, the wind moved through the trees, whispering through the leaves like voices from far away. Inside, two souls, one human, one alien, began to learn each other's rhythm. What started as a desperate plea for survival was becoming something stranger, deeper, and far more dangerous. Because far above Earth, in a hidden orbit, another ship was watching them. And it had just sent a signal. For the next 2 days, Daniel's cabin felt like a strange bubble far from the real world. Alara stayed inside, weak but healing slowly. Her glow was stronger now, her voice steadier. But her eyes, they still held fear. Not of Daniel, but of something coming. Something she hadn't fully explained yet. Daniel tried to act normal. He made food, brought water, kept the curtains closed. But in the quiet moments, he kept glancing at the sky. Something told him this wasn't over. A strange woman from another planet doesn't fall from the sky and beg for marriage without bigger things chasing behind. On the third night, Daniel asked the question he had been holding back. Are they coming for you? Alara didn't answer at first. She sat near the small fireplace, her silver hands resting on her knees. Then she looked at him, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, they will come. If they're not already here. Daniel's heart sank. Who are they? The Sentinels, she said. A special force from my world. They protect the laws of the Ithari. If they believe I broke the rules again, they'll end me. Quietly. No trial. Daniel felt cold. You mean they'd kill you just for bonding with me? Alara nodded. To them, it's not just about love. It's about species, about control. Our kind was taught never to connect with lower life forms. They believe humans are still unstable, dangerous. If they find out I bonded with you, they'll think I betrayed Alara again. Daniel stood up and started pacing. So they're out there, watching, and I'm in danger too now. Yes, she said. You're not just a helper anymore. You're part of the bond. That makes you a target. He stopped and looked at her. Then why didn't you tell me before? Why give me a choice if it meant danger? Alara stood slowly. Because I didn't want to force. You. My people forced me all my life. I didn't want to do the same to you. Her voice cracked at the end. She turned her face away, ashamed. Daniel looked at her for a long moment. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't some powerful alien queen. She was scared, alone, trying to survive. Daniel's voice softened. What happens if they find you? They'll erase the bond. And if they can't, she looked at him, pain in her eyes. They'll end us both. Silence filled the room. Only the soft crackling of the fire broke the stillness. Daniel walked over and sat beside her. Then we run, he said. She looked up, surprised. What? We run. We hide. We fight if we have to. I'm not leaving you. Alara shook her head. They're not like human soldiers. They can track energy bonds across space. They'll come in cloaked ships, with weapons your world can't even imagine. Daniel smiled faintly. Then they'll learn Earth isn't so helpless. Alara touched his hand gently. Her skin felt warm, electric. You don't have to do this. I already did, he said. The moment I said yes in that forest. For the first time since she arrived, Alara smiled genuinely with both sadness and hope. But the moment didn't last. Outside, a strange humming sound broke the night air. Daniel rushed to the window. Over the trees, a thin silver light moved silently across the sky, too slow for a plane, too fast for a drone. They're here, Alara whispered. Daniel turned to her. Can we fight them? Only if we activate the full bond, she said. What does that mean? Alara took a deep breath. It means complete fusion. Our minds, our energy, our memories shared. You'll feel what I feel. Know what I know. It will change you. Will it hurt? He asked. Yes, but not as much as losing each other. Daniel nodded. Then do it. She placed both her hands on his chest. A warm light began to glow between them. Daniel felt a sharp pull in his mind, like something opening. Images flashed before his eyes, alien cities floating in the sky, battles across stars, Alara as a child, her first punishment, her loneliness, and then suddenly his own memories came rushing out. His fears, his hopes, his pain. They stood locked in a bright halo of energy. Then it faded. Daniel fell to his knees, breathing hard. Alara helped him up, her eyes wide. It's done. Outside, the silver light had stopped moving. A low mechanical sound hummed through the air. Daniel looked at her. Then let's make sure they regret coming. Somewhere above, the Sentinel ship adjusted its course. They had found her. And now they were coming. The wind outside Daniel's cabin howled as if warning the world of something coming. The trees bent slightly under invisible pressure, and the air felt heavier, as though the sky itself was holding its breath. Inside, time moved slower. Daniel sat on the floor beside Alara, his hands trembling, heart racing not with fear, but with the weight of something ancient and unknown pressing into his soul. Alara had changed. Not in form, but in presence. Since they had started the soul connection, her glow had grown stronger. Her voice carried an echo, like the sound of many memories behind a single sentence. She now stood taller, more confident, but there was also sadness in her eyes, like someone preparing for something they might not return from. The initial link is not enough, Alara said gently, kneeling in front of him. What we did opened the door. But to survive what's coming, we need to seal the bond completely. The ritual must be finished. Daniel nodded slowly. Is it like a wedding? Alara gave a soft smile. In your terms, yes. But it is older than any human ceremony. It's not about words or rings. It's about surrender, trust, two souls, becoming one fully. She stood and walked to the center of the room, where she placed a small silver device from her suit onto the wooden floor. It unfolded silently, forming a glowing circle of light. Strange symbols danced inside it, floating in the air like mist. This is the circle of unity, she said. It reads our thoughts, emotions, and energy. If we are not aligned, it will break us apart, forever. Daniel took a shaky breath. What happens if we succeed? We will become one energy. I will live. You will become something more than human, but also less. You will feel my pain, my past, my future, my death, if it ever comes, and I will feel yours. Daniel stepped forward. If we fail, she hesitated, the ritual will destroy us both. Instantly, silence filled the cabin again. Daniel looked into her glowing eyes, then stepped into the circle. Then let's try. I'm not afraid. Alara entered too. The moment her foot touched the circle, a warm wind rose inside the cabin. Papers flew, flames flickered. The symbols began to spin faster, pulsing with life. Close your eyes, she whispered, and open your mind. As Daniel shut his eyes, he felt something press against his chest, not physically, but emotionally. It was like a second heartbeat, faster than his own. Then the light consumed him. He wasn't in the cabin anymore. He stood in a vast white space, with no ground, no sky, just endless light. Across from him, Alara appeared, but not in her silver suit. She wore flowing fabric made of stars and light. Her hair moved as if underwater. She looked ancient, powerful, and sad. You are now in the thread space, Her voice echoed all around him. Here, we share what's hidden. You cannot lie here. Neither can I. Images began flashing around them. Alara as a child running through glowing fields, watching her planet's twin suns rise. Her punishment, her exile, loneliness beyond words. Then came Daniel's life, his childhood pain, his broken dreams, the night he lost his father. The quiet emptiness he carried daily. They watched each other's truths in silence. Then Alara stepped forward, holding a silver thread that pulsed with light. This is my soul, she said. If you take it, I take yours. There is no going back. Daniel reached out. I'm already yours. When he touched the thread, a surge of heat and light poured through him. His body floated, his mind stretched. He could feel stars, voices, planets, and at the center of it all, Alara, her presence wrapped around his like a warm storm. Their hearts beat in perfect sync. Time disappeared. Then everything turned dark. Deep, booming voice echoed through the thread space. You have violated sacred law. Daniel spun around. Shadowy figures formed tall, faceless beings made of stone and mist. The Sentinels. Alara turned, stepping protectively in front of Daniel. No, she shouted. He is my bondmate. I choose him. Let me live. The shadows didn't move. You have sealed your fate. You will be judged. Then, with a flash, Daniel and Alara were thrown out of the thread space. They landed back in the cabin. The circle cracked in the middle, and the device turned to ash. Both were on their knees, gasping, sweating. Daniel looked at her. Did it work? Alara nodded slowly. Yes, we are bound. Outside, thunder cracked not from clouds, but from the sky itself tearing. They know, she whispered. They're coming faster now. Daniel stood, helping her up. Then, let them come. I won't run. She looked at him with something more than love trust born from shared pain. And above the earth, a black ship entered the atmosphere, unseen by all, except two bonded souls preparing to face the stars together. The air turned heavy just before it began. Daniel felt at first a pressure in his chest, like someone pushing down on him. Alara stood near the window, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The bond between them was complete now, and Daniel could feel her fear as clearly as his own heartbeat. They're close, she said softly. The sky outside had darkened unnaturally, even though it was still morning. Clouds hadn't gathered. It was something else. Above the earth, something massive had arrived, invisible to human eyes but not to bonded souls like theirs. Daniel stepped outside the cabin, scanning the tree line. Everything was still. The forest held its breath. Then came the sound, a low hum, deep and steady. It wasn't from any engine he knew. It was too perfect, too unnatural, like a sound that vibrated inside the bones rather than the ears. Alara appeared beside him, holding a small round device in her hand. A disruptor field, she explained. They're trying to block all signals. No internet, no calls, no cameras. They want to keep this quiet and deadly, Daniel added. The hum grew louder. Birds fled the trees. Animals ran across the ground in panic. Then, without warning, the air above the cabin shimmered, like heat waves over asphalt, and a long black figure began to uncloak. It was a ship, but not like anything from Earth. It looked like a floating blade, silent and smooth, with sharp angles and pulsing veins of blue light. 3 beams of light shot down from it, and in seconds they arrived. Sentinels. Tall figures, nearly 8 feet high, dressed in black armor that looked grown rather than made. Their faces were covered by mirrored masks. No eyes, no mouths, just silence and precision. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Alara stepped forward. Under the laws of Illyria, I demand the right to speak. The Sentinels didn't respond. Instead, the one in the center raised its hand, and a silver pulse of energy shot toward them. Daniel barely had time to react. The bond kicked in like a reflex. His arm moved on its own, catching the blast with a shield of glowing light that appeared from nowhere. The impact threw him back, but he stood up again, shocked and alive. I blocked it, he said, eyes wide. Alara grabbed his arm. Your body is adapting. The bond is making you more like us. But it comes at a cost. Daniel's skin was glowing faintly now. His veins shimmered beneath the surface. He didn't feel human anymore. Not fully. The Sentinels moved again, fast. One dashed toward them, faster than any soldier could move. Alara threw a wave of energy from her palm, knocking it into a tree. But the second one reached Daniel and slammed him into the ground. Pain shot through his back, but something inside him fought back. A burst of light exploded from his chest, sending the attacker flying. He stood, breathing hard. I don't know how I'm doing this. You're not, Alara said. We are. Together they fought. Daniel and Alara moved like they had. Trained for years. Every attack, every dodge, every strike in perfect sync. The bond guided them. They were not just two people anymore. They were one force. The fight was quick, brutal, and silent. The forest lit up with glowing energy and broken trees. When the last sentinel stood to attack again, Alara stepped forward, eyes burning. No more, she whispered. She raised both hands and a column of light exploded from the ground, lifting the sentinel into the air and tearing its armor apart. It vanished in a flash, leaving only smoke. Then everything went still. The forest was broken in places, scorched in others, but quiet again. Daniel dropped to his knees, exhausted. That was insane, Alara joined him. They won't stop. This was just a scout team. The council will send more, stronger ones. He looked at her, his face pale. How do we fight a whole galaxy? Alara reached out, touching his face gently. We don't. We show them something they've never seen. A human and an Ithari, fully bonded, fully united, choosing each other. It's not war they fear. It's change. Daniel took her hand. Then let's change everything. But far above, in orbit beyond human reach, the Council's eyes watched. The failed mission, and now a new decision was being made. Not to capture Alara, but to erase Earth entirely. The forest was quiet again, but the silence wasn't peaceful. It felt wrong too still, like the world was holding something back. Smoke drifted from the broken trees where the battle had ended. Daniel sat on a fallen log, his shirt torn, hands covered in glowing dust. He was breathing hard, still trying to understand the power inside him. Alara stood nearby, watching the sky. They had won the fight, but not the war. Daniel finally broke the silence. You said they'd stop after the bond was complete. You said they'd see us as something new. Why are they still coming? Alara didn't answer right away. Her eyes stayed on the sky. Then she whispered, because I lied. Daniel looked up, confused. What? She turned slowly, her expression full of guilt. Not everything I told you was true. A sharp coldness crept into Daniel's chest. What do you mean? Alara stepped closer, her voice shaking. I told you I was punished once before, that I broke the law. That's true. But I didn't just contact a human. I bonded with one, years ago. Daniel stood up, shocked. You bonded with someone. Before me? She nodded slowly. His name was Caleb, a researcher. He found me when I crashed during an early mission. We spent weeks together, and I grew close to him. I thought our bond could be peaceful, secret, but the council found out. They took him. They wiped his memory. They made me watch. Then they banished me. Daniel's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because I didn't want you to think this was fake or that I was using you. But now that the council has seen us together, they'll assume I broke their laws again. They think I can't be trusted, that I fall too easily for humans. He turned away, his thoughts spinning, his hands clenched. Was I just a way to survive again? Another life bond to keep you alive? No, she said quickly, stepping toward him. It wasn't like that. I didn't mean to bond with you. I tried to resist, but the moment we touched, I felt something different, deeper, not survival, choice. Daniel looked into her eyes. They were glowing softly, filled with sorrow. I wanted to believe you, he said. I gave everything. I let something inside me change. I don't even know what I am anymore. You're still you, she whispered, but now more. He backed away slightly. You say that, but now the council wants to destroy Earth because of what we did. How can I trust anything you say? Alara closed her eyes. Because I'm going to prove it. From her side pouch, she pulled out a small silver cube. This holds the truth. A memory record. Every moment between me and Caleb. The council wiped his mind, but not mine. I kept this hidden for years. She placed it in Daniel's hand. It pulsed softly. He activated it. A projection rose before them, images of a younger Alara and a human man smiling, speaking softly, bonding under starlight. The connection between them was real, gentle, beautiful. And then the council arrived. Ships in the sky, soldiers, Alara screaming, Caleb being pulled away. His memory wiped before her eyes. The recording ended. Daniel stared at the space where the image had vanished. Alara spoke gently. I was punished for love. And now I fear I've brought danger to your world by loving again. But I didn't lie to hurt you. I lied to protect this U.S. Daniel was silent for a long time. His heart was torn. He wanted to be angry. He wanted to run, but the bond they had shared everything now. Her pain had become his. He walked toward her slowly. Then tell me one last thing, and tell me true. I will, she said. Is there any way to stop them? To stop the council? She hesitated. Yes, but it's dangerous. There's an ancient artifact, the core of truth. It holds the original laws of the sci-fi. If we reach it and present our bond before it, the council must listen. They cannot erase what is recorded by the core. Daniel frowned. Where is it? In orbit, hidden in the council's temple ship. He laughed dryly. So we break into a temple in space, prove our love is real, and hope they listen? Alara smiled weakly. Yes. Daniel took her hand. Then we better steal a ship. Above them, the sky shimmered again. The council was preparing their final move, but now Daniel and Alara had one last plan, not to fight back, but to change everything. The earth was no longer silent. High above the clouds, hidden by advanced cloaking systems, the council's temple ship floated like a black moon, cold, watching, judging. Inside its vast chambers, Ithari elders stood in a circle of light there, silver eyes glowing, their faces locked in timeless expressions. Around them, whispers filled the air, voices of past rulers, of ancient law, of fear disguised as order. Far below, Daniel and Alara stood on the edge of a cliff, staring into the sky. The coordinates were set. The stolen scout ship behind them hummed quietly, its systems unfamiliar but ready. Daniel adjusted his grip on the Ithari gauntlet wrapped around his forearm, gifted by Alara, linked to their bond, now part of who he was. You still have a chance to walk away, Alara said softly. Without looking at him, Daniel smiled, tired. But sure, and miss the chance to break into an alien temple with my soulmate? Not likely. She gave a weak laugh, then stepped into the ship. Daniel followed. As the door sealed behind them, the forest disappeared. The stars grew closer. Ship broke atmosphere in seconds. No alarms, no satellites detected them, just silence as they moved into orbit, where giants waited. And then they saw it. The Council's temple ship was massive, larger than any Earth city, floating like a god's crown in the blackness. Its surface was made of living metal that shifted gently, glowing with ancient symbols. At its center was a dome, the heart of judgment, the location of the core of truth. Daniel's heart raced. "How do we get in?" "We don't," Alara said. "We surrender." Before he could ask, she opened a channel. "This is Alara of Illyra," she said. "We are unarmed. We request entrance under rule of sacred petition. I claim right of the core." A long silence followed, then a reply. Cold, final. "You are denied." But instead of retreating, Alara pressed a second button. The ship's shields lowered completely. "What are you doing?" Daniel shouted. "Surrendering. Fully. The only way they'll let us near the core is if they believe we've given up. And the only way to change their mind is to show them what the bond really means." The ship shuddered as it was pulled into the temple ship's docking bay. Lights went out. The engines silenced. And then they were inside. The docking doors opened and 20 Sentinels stood waiting. Daniel stepped forward, holding Alara's hand tightly. His legs shook, but he didn't stop. They were taken through glowing halls, past silent statues and energy walls. At the center of it all was the core of truth, a floating sphere of white light swirling with golden threads. It hummed like a living heartbeat. The council stood nearby. One of them spoke. "You were warned, Alara. Now your bond has made you both criminals." Alara bowed slightly. "Then judge us before the core. If our bond is false, let it erase us. If it is real, let it stand." The core flared once bright and commanding. Daniel looked at Alara. "What's going to happen?" "The core will enter us," she said. "If we have lied even to ourselves, it will destroy us." Daniel nodded. "Then we have nothing to fear." They stepped into the circle beneath the core. Light poured over them. It was warm at first, then burning. Their memories ripped open again. Their bond was exposed. Not just moments of love, but pain, doubt, anger, and fear. The core demanded truth, and it took everything. Daniel screamed as the weight of it hit him. Alara fell to her knees, clutching his hand. Then something unexpected happened. The core pulsed once, then again, and then changed color, from white to blue, then gold. The council murmured in confusion. The core spoke not with sound, but with presence. Bond accepted. Truth confirmed. The chamber shook. Energy rippled across the temple. The council stepped back in fear. "What is this?" One elder gasped. The core glowed brighter. "This is evolution. This is choice. This is the future you feared." Daniel stood, breathless but alive. "You wanted to erase Earth, to erase us, but now your oldest law has accepted our bond. What will you erase now? Your own truth?" The council was silent. One by one, their heads lowered. Then the oldest among them stepped forward. "You have changed the law by surviving it," he said. "The bond between Ithari and human is now recorded in the core. We can no longer deny it." Alara looked at Daniel. Tears fell from her glowing eyes. "It's over," she whispered. "We did it," he nodded, smiling. "We didn't just survive, we proved them wrong. They were given safe passage back to Earth, not as fugitives, but as symbols of something new, a living bond between two worlds. As they landed, Daniel looked up at the sky. "Think they'll ever come back?" he asked. Alara smiled. "Maybe, but next time, they'll come to learn, not to destroy." And so, Under the same stars where they once stood as strangers, a human and an alien walked forward bound not by fear, but by something stronger, love born in truth, and power born in trust.